Howdy, y'all. Caleb here, and we've got some games to go over. Some games to recap from the last 2 weekends. Not just one tournament, we had two tournaments. Not just 5 games, we had 8 games. Did I count that right? 8 games over 2 tournaments. Took the same list to each one, and let's see how well it did. So, first off, let's go through the list quickly, and then we're going to go through 8 games real quick, talk about some of the highlights in each one. So I did take a Thunderlizard list in Seraphon, obviously, with my Grand Strategy Beastmaster, keep a beast alive the entire game, Triumphs Inspired, which I'm pretty sure I forgot the whole time. And Engine of the Gods is going to be my General, Command Trait of Prime Warbeast to give him extra attacks on the mount, and Artifact Amulet of Destiny. I am kitting this Engine of the Gods out to be as tough as I can be with that amulet to give it an extra 5-up save. It's already doing -1 damage in Coalesce, so that's nice. It's a Priest now, so I don't have it listed here, but I'm giving it the Prayer Heal so that I can hopefully just keep this thing healing. With that amulet for a 5-up ward save, it's -1 damage. It can go up to a 3+ save pretty easily against a lot of MSU units or heroes. It can double tap its healing spell, and now it's got a heal prayer. So hopefully this Engine of the Gods will stay alive. I've also got a Skink Star Priest with Artifact Fusel of Conflagration to do some mortals in the shooting phase. Spell Hand of Glory. In this loadout, though, I'm really going to be looking for Mystic Shield a lot from this wizard. It's my only wizard in this list. I'm going very light on magic. I kind of feel a little nervous not taking a Slaanesh with me, only having one priest, but I had to do that to fit in some of my next heroes. So I'm also taking a Skink Priest with Universal Prayer, Scripture, Guidance. I'm doing Guidance on this priest because I'm really going to be kind of command point hungry in this list. So my Skink Star Priest has a 5-up chance to give me an extra command point. My priest basically now has a 5-up chance at an extra command point. I have an extra command point coming in from the battalion, which we'll talk about here in a second. So hopefully I can get some command points rolling. Especially, I need at least one extra one in this list for what I plan to do. I'll at least get that from battalion, if nothing else. I've also got Gotrek in my list. I really wanted something that can deal with the Mega Gargants or those big, beefy heroes that we see roaming the table right now. And I think to be honest, Gotrek is a scary piece on the table. Now, a lot of good opponents will just avoid him, but you use that to your advantage. You put him someplace where your opponent wants to be, but now they can't because Gotrek is there. And so I think he does still have some play, especially for 435 points. He's not that much more expensive than some of our other heroes and will last a lot longer, can do more damage, especially mortals. I'm really loving those mortals that he can put out. So I did bring Gotrek. I do have a unit of 30 Saurus Warriors in here. Now I have them with clubs because that's just what I have. Take spears if you've got them. But I do have 30 Saurus Warriors. I just want this for the wounds. I've got 30 models. That's 30 wounds. And they're going to be -1 damage because they're in Coalesced. And they have a natural 4-up save, but I'm looking to get my... Whoops, didn't mean to move that. I'm looking to get my Mystic Shield on them from my Skink Star Priest. And so I really want cast Mystic Shield on them and then all-out defense if I need to. So I've got 30 wounds, -1 damage on essentially a 2-up save. That's kind of my play there. Taking them as the anvil, as I talked about in the Source Warrior list. I've also got 2 Stegadons in my list. Sky Streak Bows, obviously, help plink some damage from far off. And a Bastiladon with Solar Engine to help double fire that in Thunderlizards. I am taking Hunters of the Heartland as one of my core battalions for putting one of my Stegadons in, my Source Warriors in, and Gotrek in, just to make it to where they can't get roared. It really helps because those Source Warriors really want to be able to spin that command point for all-out defense if needed. I'm also taking Warlord to get the extra artifact and the command point, which I think is pretty valuable in this list because I need at least 3 turn 1 to auto-run Gotrek, to double fire my Bastiladon, and to give that Bastiladon +1 to hit from the Skink Priest. So that's my list. A lot of drops. I'm at 8 drops, so I'm probably never going to get the priority, but that's okay. Because I can sacrifice that by throwing some trash down some of these small heroes and making you put your army down first. All right, let's go on to the first game. My first game was at the local Texas Toy Soldier monthly tournament. We have a one-day tournament every month there at our local store. And it's 3 games, one day. And my first match of this tournament was against Adneth Deepkin. Christina brought her Adneth Deepkin, and we see here we've got a Volturnus, Eidolon, and a Gotrek. So we're going to have a Gotrek fight. I just want to make sure I don't really get mine lined up against her. Maybe I can avoid her Gotrek and put mine to use while avoiding hers. We'll have to see. Also, some Eels here, a unit of Thralls, some Reavers to do some shooting, and the big old Leviathan. And she is in a battle regiment for 1 drop, so she will get priority. And we are playing on, which one was this? And we are playing on Power Struggle. And so we do have those 5 objectives. I kind of like this one. I think this one kind of plays more towards our classic game type. So I'm a big fan of this one. You can see our deployment here. And she has her Eels back over this way. The offensive ones are in the back. They're kind of hard to get to. We've got her hero. And the defensive Eels, Thralls, and Turtle are all on the line. And so I'm able to kind of pick my targets. She does make me go first and take the first turn. She didn't really have a play on the for like an alpha or anything. So she wanted me to go first, so potential double turn. By the way, her army looked awesome. That's the theme. We've got a lot of good painters here in Dallas. A lot of good painters that definitely puts my stuff to shame. So her stuff looked awesome. I think the biggest mistake and probably what tipped this game into my favor was she garrisoned Gotrek over here on the top right. And so that meant garrison in the boat was only turn 1 was only going to be able to get out of the boat, couldn't run, and was only going to be able to go 6 inches. Now that's more than his 4, but he's not going to be able to run for that full 10 that you really want to get out of Gotrek turn 1. So I think that was probably just a deployment mistake. And as I say, sometimes you lose a game in deployment. I did put my Gotrek here front and center. I'm just taking him towards the middle objective as fast as I can. I see that turtle, and I know that Gotrek is my only chance to take that turtle down. I can't take that turtle down with anything else in my armor. I don't have enough rend. I don't have enough mortals, but Gotrek can do that. My warriors over here, I'm just going to leave them back. I do not want them to engage Gotrek, but if she gets out of there and then auto runs 10, I'll send them up to just keep them off the objective. If I pump them up enough and she kind of rolls bad, they can last for a turn and a half versus Gotrek sometimes if you get lucky. So we'll see. I do need to screen them out, but I'd rather feed them these, leave them pent up with that instead of wasting my Gotrek. There's nothing worse than getting a Gotrek versus Gotrek fight because nothing ever happens. I am going to take my monsters and just swing them this way, put some shots in, and see what I can do. And in my turn, I actually do surprisingly well. Because a lot of her stuff is up on the line, I'm able to shoot off quite a bit of stuff. You do have to target the closest enemy, but because so much of her stuff was right there on the line, I was able to get a lot of it. Perspective's a little weird here, but those Eels were in range. I killed off 2 of those Eels, killed off all the Thralls with the Bastiladon there. And so I was able to put some damage onto her, put some stuff on the hero, but that never really mattered. For quite some time. So I did auto run Gotrek to the middle to grab that objective and just be a massive threat. And so that turn 1 went really well. I think it was a little shocking how much I got through. It was a lot of damage put out, and so that I think that kind of changed her play style there. She went a little bit more aggressive, seeing that she had already lost some models, and so she threw in some heroes into these Stegadons to try to get some points. Sent the turtle right at Gotrek, which I don't think I would have done. I think I may have pulled him over here and just left my Gotrek alone. But turtle went in, Gotrek got the turtle killed, and we kind of got bogged down in a fight over here with these monsters and these heroes. I was able to buff up the Stegadons enough to outlast it for a while. And actually, I think one of those Stegadons survived on 1 wound, which kept her from getting a battle tactic. She did get, I think, the next turn and sent the little unicorn seahorse guy into my engine. But the engine tanked it. It was close, but the engine tanked it and was able to slap back and kill off her hero. And so at that point, it was pretty much a done deal. The game was over. We had cleared off her turtle, most of her units. She still had the Eidolon rocking around, but at that point, it was all she wrote. It was a good game, a quick one. I think all came down to that Gotrek just not getting the max move over there and kind of getting tied up over not really getting in the fight. So good game there with Christina. Had a lot of fun. Beautiful painted army, and chalked up a win for Thunderlizards and Seraphon. Game 2, I'm playing Jacob, and he's a good player. He's been getting in a lot of reps in AOS 3, probably more reps than most of us have. So he's a good player, and he at the Warzone Houston, which we'll talk about in a little bit, he plays very well. So he is bringing an Ogor Mawtribes list. He's got a couple wizards there with the Butcher and the Slaughtermaster, a Huskard on Thunder Tusk. Let me zoom in a little bit. Frost Lord on Stonehorn. Some of the standard stuff there. He does have a unit of 6 Ogre Gluttons, which definitely baited me into shooting them. You'll see in a second. A couple of Stonehorn Beast Riders and Emerald Life Swarm. He does come in at 4 drops. So outdrops me again and gets to make the choice. We are playing on... Oh, man, which one was it? Playing on Savage Games. I can't remember the names of these things. And so I like this one too. I'm coming in with a plan on this one where I'm sending my Gotrek across the board. It's going to take, 2 turns to get him over there, but then I can disrupt whatever you've got on your home base. My plan is to just kind of sit my big horde back here and then swing my monsters over onto one of the objectives, whichever one is least occupied. And so you can see here on deployment, he baited me and I fell for it. So everything was going well. You can see he's got his kind of castle here with some wizards and his ogres, his horde, as it were. And he only has 1 monster on the left side. So I deploy heavy on this left side. All my monsters over here. I put my horde here, and you see he's got these big, all 3 of his big beasties over on that right side, all of his Stonehorns. So I said, okay, I'm going to put Gotrek over there. And I don't know that he was trying to bait me over there, but if he was, Jacob, you did it. You did a very good job baiting me to put my Gotrek over there. Look, you can even see the spot I was supposed to put Gotrek. It was right here. That's where I was going to put him. But as my last drop, I succumbed to I got greedy. I wanted to send Gotrek straight up into those monsters and get some kills. And so already I'm losing the game on deployment. So I send my Gotrek up. I don't think he ran very well or something. Doesn't look like he went very far, just enough to score that objective. And send my monsters in. I just plink 1 shot on this Huskard and he spins all out defense. So I switch over to these ogres. And don't really do as well. I mean, I kill off 3 of them. I think he ends up rallying 1 back. And then in his turn, he rallies another one back. And so didn't get quite as much. I think I should have just focused fired on the Huskard, everything, and hoped to bring it down or at least get it close enough to where I could bring it down later. But in his turn, he basically just starts, and I think this skips ahead maybe a little bit, because he just starts pulling all his monsters back over to this side. His Huskard kind of goes middle and makes one of my Stegadons. I'm just trying to tie it up. This is after his turn here. And he sends one of his Huskards just on the board edge to grab this objective to try to make me split either my Gotrek that side or that side. So I've already made a deployment error with Gotrek. And now I've decided, well, I can't afford to just send Gotrek after that 1 monster. He's just going to keep kiting him. So I'm going to send him back to the middle, try to protect this objective, and hold on to this one as long as I can against his monsters that are coming this way. And so he does well with these monsters. I can't wear him down. He has lots of heals, and in his turns, he basically switches his entire side of the board, all his monsters over to that left side, and he out monster trucks my guys. And so he's able to clear off all my monsters with his monsters. And this is just a classic. I'm misplaying Gotrek this entire time. His big monster is still coming down this side, and so I change forces again and just send Gotrek over there. So my Gotrek was just basically just playing with himself over here, not fighting anybody. Eventually, by the end of the game, he does go kill that 1 Huskard that's coming in behind me. But at that point, it's too late. He's cleared off all my monsters. I do some tricky stuff with the hero, trying to get over there and score, just to try to keep it close. But in the end, he does win this match quite easily, and not much is left on the table. Now my Gotrek is all the way back at the back of the board. Like, what am I doing? This is what you call just flat getting outplayed by your opponent. So good job, Jacob. Jacob's a real good player and definitely had me at this one. So good game. And that one goes on a major loss for Seraphon. A good learning experience. When you've got a plan, stick to it. All right. That was a fun one. All right, game 3 of this tournament, the last game, and we pull Apex Predators. So this is one with 3 objectives that can only be captured by leaders within 3 inches of it. So you got to be close, and you got to have a tough leader. So what's the one army you don't want to draw for this? That would be Mega Gargants, and of course we've got Mega Gargants. We're going up against Jonathan Lusk, and his Mega Gargants has a really cool hobbied army here for Mega Gargants. They all look like they're goth band players with instruments. Pretty cool looking army. And he does have 3 big Mega Gargants and 3 of the baby Gargants. And they are in the Taker Tribe, Amulet of Destiny on one. I don't know what else the other stuff does. You can look at it there. Maybe you know better. 4 drops, so he's going to outdrop me again. And we go into deployment. And we're in these weird corners. So I put Gotrek in that very corner that I could. Well, yeah, I think it was. Oh, you have to say 9 inches away from that center objective. That's why, and it's a kind of funny thing. But I have him to where he can go either side. Whichever way he takes this Amulet of Destiny Gargant, I'm going to go the opposite direction. And then I loaded up all my monsters. There's another one off screen over here to go after this objective and that Mega Gargant who didn't have the Amulet of Destiny. And so he does take first turn and just moves all his guys up. Unfortunately, my warrior's going to be absolutely worthless this turn. This entire game, they can't do anything. They're not going to kill anything. They're there as an anvil. So maybe if I had gotten first turn, I could have run them on an objective just to screen it out, but I didn't. So he's going to send all 3 Mega Gargants, and I'm going to send Gotrek. He's got to get within 3 of this objective with his leader, so he's got to be close, which means Gotrek is going to get close. So this actually is going to be pretty fun. And I'm able to send in all 3 of my Stegadons into his Mega Gargant and double fire my Bastiladon into it. And this is the unamuleted Gargant. And in 1 turn, we are able to bring that Mega Gargant down. Yes! So, hey, 2 Stegadons, an Engine of the God, and a Bastiladon will take down a Mega Gargant in turn 1. Maybe there were some bad rolls. I don't remember. I think we put out a lot of damage. I don't even think I even had to attack with the last Stegadon. I think we killed it off before that. So that was pretty nice. Gotrek here, he didn't quite one-shot this Gargant. Because of the terrain features, he did have a 6-up ward save from this, but Gotrek just didn't quite do enough damage in that turn to kill him off. But that Gargant's stuck there because if he wants to score that objective, he's got to stay there. Otherwise, Gotrek is going to get it. He does bring in his babies in his turn. He got the priority into Gotrek to try to do some damage, and I don't think he did any. I put Finest Hour on Gotrek because I knew he was going to get attacked. I put All Out Defense on Gotrek, and so even though these guys have a ton of attacks, just not quite enough to get through Gotrek. And so in my turn, there's you can see my Gotrek there surrounded by all these Gargants, and I took 3 total wounds at the end of all those attacks. Okay, so I guess I did take a few wounds, but not too shabby. And then we were able to kill off the Gargant in his turn. So Gotrek fighting back, was able to kill off that Gargant on the first attack, and then on the second attack, I think I killed off like 1 or 2 of the babies. And so looks like I killed off one of the babies. So I took the objective in his turn, and at that point, it was pretty much game over because I've got 2 heroes on 2 objectives, and he's only got 1 hero left. And so that was an awesome showing. I think we both went into this game thinking, well, this is a gimme for the Gargants. But these things can have some killing power. When those Gargants are kind of teed up within range because they had to be to get on the objective, you're able to put out a lot of damage. I think maybe if we were to re-rack this and play it again, he might let me go forward to the objective and then let him come crushing in. Probably just avoid the one Gotrek was on and just crush in 2 Gargants on the one with all my monsters and leave one on the open, undefended one. So, good game though. It was a lot of fun killing Mega Gargants. Hope you had fun, Jonathan. Gotrek can be pretty nasty versus Gargant, and that's why I brought him. So that was a fun one. Ended that tournament on 2-1. Was happy with that. If I hadn't been completely outplayed by Jacob and put up a better fight, we might have had a better showing. But a lot of fun and good practice for Warzone Houston, which is coming up next at the Big GT. Let's look at some of those games. Oh, hold on. But first, here's the rankings for that 1-day tournament, and I am technically higher on the scoreboard than Jacob. So who got outplayed now? No, we tied for third. So just kidding. He outplayed me. All right, so we had a GT in Houston, Warzone Houston, the Hammerfest, and a lot of fun, awesome games. First game up, Ben Riddle, who will probably be in the comments. Check him out. Hey, give us some of your feedback on some of your games. Let's see that. But we did play in game 1, and he's a Seraphon player, and we are playing on First Blood. So we do have these 3 objectives here in the middle, and we got that weird corner setup with some goofy lines on this setup, but makes for a fun one. So Ben Riddle, we've got a game 1 matchup, and look at this list. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. He's rocking the Koatl's Claw list. Yeah, buddy. Look at this. He's got 4 Scar veterans on Carnosaur. Yeah. When I saw that this is what I was going to get to face, it made my heart swell. 4 Carnosaurs is wonderful. He does have 2 Skink Star Priests with Hand of Glory. Those are to buff up his 2 30 blocks of Warriors, and he's got 2 minimum units of Source Knights. So, hey, and look, he's taking Spears. Smart guy. He does have lower drops than me with that Battle Regiment and Warlord. So a very fun list, a ton of wounds, especially when they're all at -1 damage. So that makes it a grind to get through those wounds. So play that attrition style game, and you might have some luck. So we got the big old Carnosaurs roaring around on the table there. And here's our deployment. So I put my Gotrek right here in the corner, and he's going to go to whichever one of these I feel like is more likely to have his attention, because that's where I'm going to put stuff. I did put all my monsters on one side to press one objective. I like this objective because he was going to have to run around this gigantic building to get to it. So I felt like I could hold that for a couple turns minimum as I'm harassing it with all my monsters, and it'll take a lot of bodies to get on that objective to outdo my bodies here, and he'll have to pass by Gotrek to get to it. So that's the deployment. He did give me first turn. And so I run Gotrek to the middle, put Mystic Shield on him, follow him up with my Warriors. I was trying to get my Warriors a little bit closer just to kind of screen him a little bit so he can't wrap a bunch of things around Gotrek, but that's all I could get in. I put like every shot I had into his Skink Star Priest, the one right here, because I didn't want these spears with mortals coming into Gotrek. I put every shot I had into that Skink Priest, and he lived. So from that other game where I'm playing Idanas Deepkin, which, is pretty good against shooting, and I can't kill one 5-wound, 5-up hero. So, it is a dice game. Sometimes it works out. So a little disappointed I didn't kill that guy, but I feel like I'm in a good position here. So once his turn, he's bringing in those spears as I thought he would, supported by all those mortals to try to just get as much damage as he could onto them. I think I may have redeployed when he moved in. I may have redeployed these skinks up, or not these skinks. Whoa, not the skinks. The warriors just to help surround Gotrek more, so he couldn't get more spears into Gotrek. He did bring his Carnosaur and stuff over here. These Carnosaurs were running to get a battle tactic and kind of playing the long game. So there's his running Carnosaurs and his spears about to come into Gotrek. And look at that mashup of Source Warriors there on the board. That's what you want to see. His Source Warriors are going to outkill my Source Warriors because he's smart. He has the spears. He has the mortals on him. And so I think I had mortals on mine too, but just clubs, you got no reach. And he's got the charge to wrap me up. And he decides to put all his attacks into the warriors just to try to kill off as many bodies as he could. And he kills off quite a few, but Gotrek gets to fight twice and kills off all the warriors. It was, that was a rough one. So he does take off all those warriors, and that was the end of his second turn there. And on my next turn, I'm able to shoot off this Carnosaur that was over here with all of my shooting, and then I charge in a Stegadon into that Carnosaur and my Gotrek into that one. There may have been another Carnosaur here, I think. Gotrek may have already killed one at that point. But Gotrek goes into this one here and just flubs hard. I must have killed off one of those other Carnosaurs by something else. I don't remember what. I was hoping to pile in this Gotrek around this way because I could get within 3 of him and fight twice, but just totally whiffed on that Carnosaur and left him alive. And so, but at that point, I had my Gotreks into his Carnosaurs. I'd already killed the other one, killed off a lot of his warriors, and so it was kind of downhill from there. So, I was able to take over the board pretty convincingly at that point. He did delete my objective up here, but I had enough to take over for the rest of it and kill off all his monsters to keep scoring those points. Do a couple battle tactics and then push this way and would eventually wipe off the rest of it. So, great game there. From Ben, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing all those warriors on the table. I think this was his first ever fight against Gotrek, and so he learned some lessons there. And from what I saw, his next matchup was against a Morathi and Gotrek, Daughters of Cain army, and I think he ended up winning that one. So I'm gonna take a point of credit for that for giving him a lesson on Gotrek. And I really enjoyed it, Ben. Really enjoyed the game. Had a lot of fun, and it's always fun to play against a bunch of Source warriors. So good win for us on game 1. On to game 2. Game 2 of the Warzone Houston was on Tectonic Interference. This is basically old shifting objectives. I like this map. I think this army can play well to having 3 in the middle because it forces you into Gotrek at some point. And so I like this one. Of course, it always depends on the opponent. And this one I rolled up against Gavin Greiger, and a very good player. Some might say, he's one of the top players in Texas and therefore the world. And so it was going to be a tough one. He's bringing one of the best lists out there right now, and so that's Daughters of Cain, Hagnar, and we've got Morathi, the Shrine. We've got 15 Bloodstalkers and some Blood Sisters to round that out. And so those Bloodstalkers are disgusting. And so they can they can put out a ton of mortals, a ton of shots in both the hero and shooting. And so they can be a real trouble. And so he did outdrop me. So I was going to play against wherever he was going to put his bow snakes, and then I was going to try to load up the other side. So I saw that he put his Hag Queen back here, and so that kind of tipped me off that he's going to put his bow snakes over on the right side. And so I start loading all my monsters on this left side. Gotrek in the middle. I don't want to face Gotrek off against Morathi because that'll just be a waste. But if that happens, then I can pile in my warriors and then just outnumber him on that objective. I know my warriors are going to get shot to death, but I would rather have them shoot my warriors in something important. Also, those bow snakes can go pretty much anywhere on the board, so really nothing's safe. He does have some of the melee snake ladies over here and over here, and so he saw that I was, I had a Gotrek size hole right here, and that's where I didn't want to put him originally after I saw Morathi going down. But once all the bow snakes were in range to shoot him in the hero phase, he was playing him kind of aggressively, I felt. Then I put him over here, so at least he couldn't get shot in the hero phase because that is one unit that can delete Gotrek. So he does take first turn, and man, I should have. This is where the more you play the army, you'll learn these things. But he just shoves that Morathi right in here, which is just the absolute worst spot I could have left open because this terrain here, I'm now bottlenecked. I can't really get out here. I can't really get out here because she's got me trapped, and I've got such big bases, I just can't get out. And so great play there, shoving Morathi right into my lines. Does leave this middle objective open for me, but it doesn't really matter because all my stuff's going to be tied down with Morathi there. And so on my turn, I basically have to retreat stuff out so I don't get a good phase of shooting with a lot of this stuff. The things I do get to shoot, I try to do some damage. I think I killed like one of those. That was about it. I did plink 3 into Morathi every turn that I could, and so that was good. But we do get enough bodies on this to take it. I get enough bodies over here to take it with the warriors that are left. I rallied these warriors as many times as I could, but just I never got many back. I got like 2 or 3 back, and that was it over the whole game. So that was how it looked at the end of my turn. We're still doing okay, I think. If we can get some turn priorities, we might be doing okay. But I do get that turn, I think, going into this one, and I'm able to just hold this objective. At this point, I'm taking over this objective, and I shoot off his snake ladies that were over here. So his threat over on this side of the board is pretty much just Morathi, and she's already low on wounds. I've been able to plink my 3 wounds into her. I put Gotrek into the other half of Morathi so that I can make sure either she's got to retreat that person off and run away, or I'm going to guarantee my 3 into it. Plus, it gave me a little bit of extra movement with Gotrek, just trying to shove closer here on what I hope will be the next turn. So I know he's got to deal with these warriors in his turn, and if I can get priority, then maybe I can get Gotrek into something important. So that was the end of mine. On his turn, he does come in with the bow snakes, and he takes out the rest of the warriors. It may have been one of the only times the warriors actually got wiped in all these games. So that was obviously they do a ton of damage. But here we are, we're sitting at the end of his turn, and I still feel good because I've still got 3 of my big monsters. If I get this turn, I can put a ton of shots into these bow snakes. Now, I mean, they have it's a 5-up rerollable ward, so they are incredibly tough. But if I bring Gotrek in and he doesn't get a good redeploy, then I'll be able to get in. He'll take some shots. I'm going to heal him up right now, that kind of thing. And so I think if I can get that priority, I still have a chance. It's not a great chance, but I still like it. Unfortunately, he does get the priority going into round 3, and that means Gotrek is going to go down. I do heal him a little bit in heroic actions, I think, but he's able to wipe him off. He charges in with Morathi and kills off the Bastiladon, but I'm able to attack back with the engine, and I think that was the turn where I was able to take off Morathi in his turn. Maybe I've slept since then. So he did kill Gotrek, which was really my big threat. Now all I've got is my engine and a Stegadon and like 1 small priest left. So that turn right there was the killer. That was the one that basically decided the game going into turn 3. And so in my turn, maybe that was when I killed Morathi. I can't remember. That must have been when I killed Morathi. On the next turn, I was able to finally get into the snakes. I was hoping to get both Stegadons in, but I missed a charge on the smaller Stegadon. And the engine took out quite a few of them, but just not enough to really matter. And then in his turn, he would end up taking them out. And so then that was the end of the game. He did get the major win and score full 20-0 points on there. So great game. Gavin ended up winning the tournament, and so he's a great player with a great list. And I feel like I put up a decent fight there until that turn priority into 3. And at that point, it was just too many shots from the bow snakes and not enough I could do to answer back. So good game and great player. Great, had a lot of fun even though I lost. And on to the next game. Game 3, we're playing on Savage Gains. Let's go back to here. So, remember, I told you I learned my lesson last time to stick to your plan. So I'm going to put my Gotrek in the middle and charge him across the board and get over to that side by turn 2. That's 2 runs. I'll be on his side and then be able to cause mayhem in turns 3, 4, and 5. Well, that works unless you come up against Dimitri, So I'm going up against Dimitri and his Slaanesh list. So this Slaanesh list here is like the direct counter to Gotrek. And so he does have a Keeper of Secrets in here with the Amulet of Destiny. He's got Infernal and Rapturous. I don't know what some of the stuff is. Glutos, which is that is such an awesome model. And Dimitri had a fantastic paint job on that thing. That was awesome. And Be'lakor, which Be'lakor can shut down any unit for an entire turn until his next hero phase. You're on a 3-up, you don't get to do anything in that phase. And so he's going to put that on Gotrek at some point. I know he is. And then also one of these guys has a spell, I don't remember which one it was, that basically halves the movement of Gotrek and halves the charges. So Gotrek's moving 2 and is making terrible charges. So as long as he gets that spell off, he's going to shut down Gotrek horribly. And then Be'lakor is going to shut down Gotrek even if he doesn't get off that spell. So we do have some Blissbarb Archers and some Hellstriders there, Umbral Spell Porter, and Mesmerizing Mirror, which, good grief, I didn't realize what that thing did. So here's our deployment. He's got Glutos in the middle, and I'm salivating. I'm like, man, I don't know what Glutos does, but I want to go kill it with Gotrek. So, because that would be fun. And so I did put Gotrek in the middle. I am going to try to pull off my strategy. He's got his Be'lakor and his Keeper Secrets way in the back. He's real scared of my Bastiladon. He didn't know where I was going to put my Bastiladon down at. Rightfully so. You'll see here in a little bit. I did put one Stegadon over here just to grab this objective. This is where I kind of wish I didn't have a whole horde. I really need like one minimum unit of knights to be able to do this because I didn't want to spend a Stegadon on doing that, but I had to because I need to be able to grab that objective. I put the rest of my monsters over here to force this side where he has a few more bodies, but none of these big heroes. And so I was going to leave my small heroes in this pyramid and my horde of warriors here to just hold my objective. That was the plan. And so he takes first turn. Everybody outdrops me. So he takes first turn. And oh my goodness, this is skipping ahead a little bit, but he puts Umbral Spell Portal like right here, and then this hand of mirror through it. Insta kills my Skink Star Priest. Puts a ton of mortals on this guy, or not a ton. Puts a couple of mortals on this guy. Luckily misses on my Engine of the Gods. Otherwise, that would have been terrible. But that thing could be gross. And now you've got to like play around with mortals to get around it, to get away from it. You're going to get hit by mortals constantly. And I have two priests that could possibly dispel it using their prayer, but my wizard's gone. And so I try just about every turn to dispel that thing to get it out of my face, but I can't. I do run my Gotrek turn 1. I thought he was going to freeze him up turn 1, but he didn't. He does bring his Hellstriders down here, which I end up killing pretty quick. He brings some Hellstriders over here, which in my turn I kill pretty quick. And he ends up running his Glutos over here, which is odd because now I'm seeing that objective is left wide open, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna run over there to it. Little did I know, in his turn, he's going to use the spell to lock down my Gotrek. Here's Glutos coming in. Glutos looked awesome. He locks down my Gotrek with Be'lakor. He ends up killing off one Stegadon with Be'lakor, which I'm fine with. He brings in his Keeper Secrets over here. Really only kills off like 2 or 3 warriors. I don't feel like it was very much. It wasn't nearly as much as I thought. And so on my turn, I decided to stray away from heading this way, and I send Gotrek over here because I know I've got to deal with these 2 big heroes. Otherwise, he's going to come in here, and I feel confident enough that I can swing one of these Stegadons up over into the top side and catch his objective from him because all he's got are these little guys and one small hero. So if he's going to continue to swing both of these to the left, I'm going to try to flank him. I am able to take off his Keeper Secrets with the Bastiladon, double firing the Bastiladon and the Keeper Secrets. It is a Chaos Demon, so it does 3 damage as the Bastiladon does. And I start heading off this way. I'm putting shots on where I can. I think I had to fire everything into the Keeper Secrets that turn. But I get the double turn, and I let him remove an objective. And he's going to remove this one here. But that's fine because I know with the run, I can capture his objective. So I take the turn knowing that I can grab his objective. And I was really hoping he wasn't going to lock this guy down. I think that's what I would have done if I was him, because you're going to lose off on a ton of points. Yes, you might lose Gotrek here, but he's still locked down with that spell. So I can move him 2, and he's got to make a crazy charge, but you're going to redeploy one. So I think Dimitri should have probably locked down this Bastiladon. But I think he had locked down Gotrek maybe the time before or something. I don't remember. Maybe he had Gotrek locked down there. Oh, yeah, he did have Gotrek locked down there, because I could never do anything with Gotrek. But what I did is I double fired the Bastiladon and killed off Be'lakor. So that was nice. And I was able to run here. Gotrek did not make the charge into Gludos because he was locked down. He wasn't able to do it. And so now it's over to Dimitri, and all he's basically got is Gludos. This character here, one character here, and these Blissbarb archers, which doesn't seem like enough, but he's able to get working. So he's able to he runs his Glutos all the way back over here and kills off that Stegadon, summons in some bodies. He's doing some shooting with these guys, which actually did work. So that was impressive. A lot of shots, and you got to roll saves. Sometimes you don't roll those saves. He does have a hero hanging out here. I think I would have pushed this hero back over here just to keep that objective under control. Because in my turn, I pump up that Engine of the Gods as much as I could, and I sent it into Gludos thinking I could take out Gludos. I didn't realize Gludos had a ton of wounds on a 3-up save, which he's going to bump down to a 2-up save because I didn't get the roar off on him. I was on Finest Hour, a Prime War Beast, +1 to my attacks, but couldn't do it. So took him down quite a ways, but wasn't able to kill him. And that's even with shooting with the Bastiladon. I think I put the Bastiladon shot into him. Maybe I shot into these guys and killed him. I don't remember. Anyway, on to there. He's doing some summoning tricks. He does end up killing off the engine in his turn, which was a shame. Gludos hit pretty hard. I think this entire tournament, I never made any saves with that Amulet of Destiny. I don't know what it was. Until next game. Wait till next game. But he's doing some summoning. He's got lots of summoning points racked up at this point, and now it's a control issue. I really should have not attacked with the engine. I should have just swung that engine back around here, held on to this objective with extra bodies, and won the game. But I didn't. I got greedy. I tried to charge. Always be charging. So he got Slay the Warlord by killing him. And then in his turn 5, no, I move over here. I think I may have had to run the Bastiladon. I didn't get run, shoot, and charge, so he just had to run like normal. Or maybe I did. I don't remember. Yeah, I did get it because I shot off his hero that was over here. Just trying to keep that from coming in for the extra points. So I have 5 on this objective, plus 2 from Gotrek. So I have 7 on the objective, and he's got to try to make as much as he can in the last of his turn over here to grab that objective. And I think he needed to take down my monster to deny me my battle tactic, my grand strategy, and that would, I think, help him win the game. If he could get that point, if he could get his battle strategy, kill a monster, and deny me my points, he would have won the game. So he sends over his Gludos into the Bastiladon. He had to make a 10-inch charge because I did redeploy with the Bastiladon. He had to make a 10-inch charge into the Bastiladon and made it, but could not kill the Bastiladon in combat. Obviously, I think the Bastiladon had a +1 to save from the Skink Priest, and I may have given him all-out defense too or something. And so he was super tough. He had summoned in extra Demonettes, and they needed to make a 9-inch charge into Gotrek. Didn't have any rerolls, didn't have any command points left, and they failed that. If they had made that, they would have had to do something to Gotrek. But as it was, they were out of the objective at that point. So I don't know that they would have been able to survive Gotrek. In fact, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have. But it might have helped if he could have kept a couple alive on the objective. So. But without killing the Bastiladon, that means it was a major win for Seraphon, but just barely. Whew, we squeaked that one out. It was a heck of a game against Dimitri, a lot of fun, and it came right down to the wire in turn 5, making big charges, trying to kill monsters, and really, that's all you can ask for in a game of Age of Sigmar. So great game there, Dimitri, and pulled off a win there in Game 3. Game 4, I pull Andrew Carlson. We played actually last time we played at Warzone Houston, and it was a incredibly close game at that one too. He ended up winning Warzone Houston last time they had it, and so we get matched up here in Game 4. And he is bringing a Sons of Behemat, however you say that. He's bringing a Mega Gargant army. He does have 2 Mega Gargants and 2 units of 3 Baby Gargants. And so he is outdropping me here. He's got the Amulet of Destiny on the Kraken Eater and Eager for the Fight on, Ironweld Cestus on the War Stomper, which lets him reroll all his saves. I like that loadout. That is awesome because that makes these 2 Mega Gargants incredibly tough. One has a ward save of 5 up, and one can reroll their saves and bounce mortals back to you. So that's a great list there. I really like that one. Mega Gargants. What's our game type? We are going into Power Struggle. And so we got the Power Struggle game type here. Lots of objectives. He's basically only got 4 units. But those 4 units are going to hold down objectives real hard. And he's fast. And so I line up at the very back of the board. This mat is, the back 2 inches is no-go. So I had everything like bumped to the line. I had my heroes behind this. The only thing I didn't have behind all this was good old Gotrek. I put him on the side that did not have the amulet. Amulet of Destiny's over here, so I'm staying away from that. I've got monsters over here. I had to drop them on that side. These warriors are kind of protected behind this building. I'm just trying to keep them back as much as possible because I do not want these running and charging babies into my line turn 1. And so, yeah. So that's how lineup is. And he takes first turn and grabs his objective. He kicks, I think, did he kick this one back just a little bit, turn 1? Didn't really kick it back as far as he wanted to, and that would actually come back to make a difference later, you'll see. But he's got a lot of beef on all these objectives. He's also kind of hanging back, getting out of range. He's not in range of a charge from Gotrek. I'm going to be able to pot shot some stuff here. But that means whoever gets the next turn is going to be able to make some charges. I don't want to get too close because if he gets it, then he's going to destroy my army. And so it's really coming. We're still kind of just playing that chicken, and he's going to win that game every day because he can just hold those objectives as much as possible. So I do run my Gotrek in my turn. I get Mystic Shield on him and get him set up to charge. I shoot everything I've got into these Baby Gargants, but don't kill anything off. He makes some good rolls there. And we're just kind of setting up for whoever gets the turn priority. That's going to be big. So it's 3-2. I do get turn priority. And so I choose my battle tactic is destroy his battle line. So I'm trying to go for that battle line. Unfortunately, because he knows that he's going to redeploy. He gets a big high redeploy. And now he's going to be out of charge range. I needed a good charge. It wasn't unreasonable charge, but I needed a pretty good one. It may have been a 9. And I could do an easy charge here. So it's like, do I re-roll that charge, try to go for the long one and potentially fail it? I decided not to and just go into this Mega Gargant. I'm going to lose the battle tactic for that round, but at least I can get into one of these Mega Gargants, hopefully kill it if I can get some good rolls and take out a big threat that's on the board. Well, I do. Gotrek was just disgusting. I think in his first activation, he did like 15 mortals as well as quite a few damage normally. And then in the second activation, he did 9 or 10 more mortals and enough wounds going through that it killed him by 1 wound, 1 shot of the Mega Gargant. So that was awesome. Now he's got this threat of Gotrek sitting on his objective, which I was able to claim that objective. And he can take it back easy from me, but does he want to leave something close to Gotrek there? He may just abandon that objective for the rest of the game and leave Gotrek on his own. I had to screen with this Stegadon. This is where I really need another MSU unit. I don't like leaving this huge horde back here, but this horde will just get absolutely destroyed by these things. And I want those bodies for later in the game when I whittle down these numbers. If he's only got 1 on an objective, I can outnumber him with Saurus Warriors. And so I did have to screen here. I was able to pop off one of these babies with some shots in this turn. but not really enough. I think in this game he rallied 2 of these baby gargants back. That was unfortunate when you put in a lot of effort to kill those things, and he is able to rally them back. On his turn, he does end up killing that Stegadon there. He sends in quite a bit of beef. I think he could have piled in. I think he may have just forgotten, but I think he could have piled in this guy to easily claim this objective, but didn't for some reason there. And so there's how the board looks after we're done with 2. Next roll-off is a big one, as every roll-off is a big one. So this game was a really good game. Lots of strategy here, like lots of redeploys all over the place. Man, it was a fun one. So going into 3, he wins priority. So I'm gonna get to remove an objective, and this is weird because you would think, well, just remove this one up here that he holds, but I kind of want to hold his Gargants back because otherwise I can take it with Gotrek over there on that objective. So I don't want to remove that one. I don't want to remove the one that he holds in the middle. So I end up removing this one because he's got so much beef over here. I remove my own objective. So that forces into the thought of, does he bring everything here to kill my heroes, or does he go back and play the objective game and get near Gotrek? So what he ends up doing is he does end up coming this way, and I think his ultimate goal was to push down towards my bottom left objective, and then kind of dance around with Gotrek for these middle objectives as possible. So he takes as his battle tactic Slay the Warlord, and he sends 3 Mega Gargants or 2 Mega Gargants into Baby Gargants, and the big one with the amulet into the Engine of the Gods. I put Finest Hour once he chooses, Slay the Warlord. I put Finest Hour on the engine, and the engine. Look at this. The engine has 1 life left. After all his attacks are left, he has 1 life left, and so I didn't make any amulet saves until the final wound that was going to be allocated to that engine. I roll a 5-up. The one wound that mattered. Amulet didn't save anything for me all tournament, but on that one roll, he did. That prevented the battle tactic from being popped. That prevented, the extra point for bringing down a monster. That was awesome. I was able to pile in and kill off some one baby gargant there, put some wounds on another one. But wow, 1 wound. Sometimes all you need to win a game is 1 wound. Because that's big. Because I'm gonna have a chance in my turn to heal up that engine. I'm gonna have a chance to retreat it out of combat, get out of combat with that thing. And so in my turn, I'd take the battle tactic to kill that battle line or monster, whichever one it was. He only had a few wounds left on that one, and we're able to pile on. Actually, I'm running my Stegadon this way. I retreat him out of combat. Can't run though, and I'm playing for the long game, hoping for the double turn to get him up to there. This Bastiladon is just gonna had to put shots over here, and Gotrek starts heading that way. So that's how that one ends. And I think he gets the next turn. I can't quite remember here. Yes, because he won the tie. That was a big one. I think I could have shut the door if I had gotten the turn on that one. But it keeps it alive here. And that's big because he's able to kill off the engine. He does make a charge down here with those guys, but I'm able to fire off my Bastiladon and kill off one of them in Overwatch or something like that. Somehow I killed off one of those. And now Gotrek is over here by himself. He's gonna shift stuff this way. But in my turn, I need to be able to run this Stegadon. And I can do it if I do +1 to run and charge and get that Bastiladon or get that Stegadon all the way up there. But I quickly realized that in my turn, he rallies one of these guys back. So here's another one. So he rallies this. He gets a big 6 there. In my turn, I realize that I don't have a hero within range of this Stegadon to auto run at 6. And so I can make it to this objective in this turn on a roll of a 6. And what do I roll? I get a 6. So sometimes, he had some dice going his way. I had some dice going my way. Those are those moments that make it for some epic games. And so I'm able to clinch that objective. So now I own all 3 of these. I own this one. I own all the objectives on this one. And he's on his turn. He's going to have to make some decisions here. He is able to make a play. He wins the objective or wins the priority, and he's able to push in this Mega Gargant in to just barely touch that one and send this one over here. I redeploy these Source Warriors just to save them because I'm trying to get them out. I'm going to lose the objective, but I know that on my turn at the bottom of 5, I can just pile them back in to score this objective, or not pile them back in, just walk them back in to score this objective from this 10 models, as long as he doesn't rally another one back. But at that point, it's kind of over. He wasn't able to kill this Bastiladon. Not that it really mattered here. He's able to score this objective, but he doesn't hold more than me. And so in the end, I squeak out the win there, 27-20. Had some good dice go my way a couple different times. He had some good dice go his way, but getting that charge in Gotrek to kill that Mega Gargant was awesome. Getting that run over here was awesome. Getting that Engine of the Gods on one wound was awesome. So always a fun game versus Andrew. Thanks for the fun game. Got another win for Seraphon in that one. All right, on to the next one. Game 5. Game 5 is, man, this is a tough one for my army. Now, obviously, we didn't know what battle plans we were going to have when we picked armies. This is one where I really need more individual units because there are 6 objectives on the board, and yours can be burned if you're no longer on it, which means Gotrek is very hard to play on this game type because I'm going to have to split up my army a lot or leave him on an objective, which I don't want to do. So it's really going to depend on my opponent. I'm hoping for a slow opponent, somebody that can't get around the board. What do I get? I'm playing up against Elijah Ramos. We're on table 9, and he is playing Fangs of Sotek. This is exactly the army I didn't want to face because he's got teleports, he's got fast movement, he's got magic dominance. I've only got one tiny wizard who is going to get absolutely slaughtered by the Comet's Call. And so, but hey, it's fun to play Seraphon, and Elijah was a great opponent, and I think we had a lot of fun. So here's his list of Fangs of Sotek. He's got Lord Croak as his general, and his grand strategy is Prize Sorcery. So he's just going to keep Croak alive the entire game. Source Astrolith Banner, Serpent God Dagger on there. Astrolith Banner gives you that +1 to cast, extra range, and a 6-up ward save for everything around it. Skink Priest has an Amulet of Destiny. A smart move there to keep that tiny wounded hero alive as much as possible. And Skink Star Priest with Hand of Glory. So I think you're pretty standard there for Fangs of Sotek. We got some guard, of course, 2 units of 20 skinks, some salamanders, and 2 Bastiladons. So 2 Bastiladon and Fangs is interesting. It gives you a lot of shots, but against my army, they're only going to be doing 1 damage. So that's basically like he only has 1 Bastiladon against me, if you kind of think about it that way. And I have 1 Bastiladon against Sam that does 2 damage, and I get to fire it twice. So that's the equivalent of 4 of his Bastiladons, right? This math is working out, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out that way. He does have Burning Head and Schnackles, which I really like. And so he does have more drops than me. And so I am able to choose. And so I see where he puts down his pyramid. Figure he's going to put his base around there. I put my pyramid way far in the back just because I'm going to have my little stuff in it. I don't want them being blown up by his pyramid. So I want it to be on 6s. I put my horde on this objective. I put my monsters in the middle, and I put Gotrek over on the right side. Probably wasn't the smartest plan. I probably just need to leave like 1 Stegadon there and push Gotrek forward and just make you deal with it. I really just need to do that. I was hoping just to kind of leave him over there, and I was hoping to get enough damage through on this first turn that I could kind of control what happens the rest of the game. But that wasn't going to be the case. So I did get priority. I took it because I wanted to get it before he got any of his buffs up on his skinks. And I wanted to try to take out the salamanders and his skink priest. I figured I could do that with all the firepower I have. That was wrong. So I move up. I was able to kill off all the salamanders. But the problem was, like, it took everything. And my first activation of Bastiladons, I had killed off everything except 1 wound of a salamander. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, do I activate the Bastiladon again and kill the salamander, that last wound? Or if I don't, he's going to rally the other salamander back. So I had to spend the other activation on the Bastiladon to kill that salamander. If I could have gotten one more wound, then I would have been able to snipe out that Star Priest. Hopefully, I mean, as long as the dice, allow you to. But that would have been the plan, was to take out so then he has basically no mortal wound output other than Croak. And so I'm not too worried about the Skinks as long as they don't have mortal wounds. I'm not too worried about his 1 damage Bastiladon as long as they don't have mortal wounds from the Skink Priest and the tower there. But I'm unable to do that. And so now he's able to put mortals. He doesn't have salamanders, at least. That's good, because the salamanders would have just come in and just like one-shotted a Stegadon, charged in, put a ton of damage on another one, all the while his Skinks were destroying me. That's why I couldn't let him have turn 1, because I would have lost way too much turn 1. I didn't move Gotrek. I had to keep him off of this, because if I move him, then he's going to move any unit into 1 inch here, and he's going to score that objective. I think in hindsight, I forfeit that objective, and I just push forward. Yeah, he's going to get 2 points out of that. I've got to push forward otherwise. But didn't do it. So my turn 1 didn't quite go as planned, so now he's able to get mortals up on all the Skinks. And he's able to push in. He kills off 1 Stegadon, puts some wounds on this one, puts just a couple, like 2 wounds. No, it looks like he put 4 wounds through that Bastiladon. And that's a lot of firepower to absorb, but, we lost 1 monster. That's not too bad. I think I can recover from that. If I can get the turn priority here, then, hey, that's fine. I can easily take out those heroes and then start working down the rest of the stuff. But he does get the double turn there. And in this game, I don't think I won a priority until going into turn 5. If I could have won 1 priority, I think I could have had a better chance at this one. He does get he puts a lot of shots into this Stegadon, but doesn't quite kill it. And so he then has to charge in all these Skinks. He was out of range of getting his mortals on all the Skinks, so he's just putting in just vanilla shots. But he is able to get the mortals on the Bastiladons, and so he's able to do some damage there. So he takes off that let's go back to this picture. He does take off that Stegadon. In my turn, so he charges these guys in. So in my turn, I move up Gotrek. He redeploys these Skinks, but doesn't quite get far enough. I charge into those Skinks, able to take out those Skinks and those Skinks in that same turn. Unfortunately, I had to devote some Bastiladon shots over there because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to clear those for my battle tactic. If I didn't make the charge with Gotrek, then I was going to have to charge with Engine. And so luckily I made it in with Gotrek, killed off all those. And if I could have won the turn priority here, then we would have been in business again. But I don't get it. And so he summons in, well, that's a terrible picture. He summons in some salamanders. And he teleports he takes a bunch of shots into the Engine here. Puts some shots in with the salamanders, kind of bunkers up here hard, and holds his objective. I do end up burning because I don't get that priority. I do end up burning my objective again. This is a weird one where I had to burn that one because if I didn't, he's just going to teleport anything over there. He's going to summon in some Skinks, teleport Skinks over there, and steal that for the rest of the game. So I can't do that. I burn my own objective because I know that in my turn, I can easily grab this one. And so now we're on to my turn. I'm able to clear off the Bastiladon here. My Engine did live through all his shooting, so that was good. His salamanders were able to put some shots on, but weren't able to do enough damage. I kill off his Bastiladon. I choose not to pile in towards that objective and burn it because I'm hoping just to hold it for the rest of the game to score points. And if I can get the double turn here, I'm going in and killing these warriors, taking over this objective. I'm pushing forward with this stuff. I mean, I'm going to be able to do some damage if I can get that double turn. But I don't. So he's able to summon in Skinks, take back this objective, put 1 wound through here. He's able to put more damage here, sending in those salamanders again for some more attacks here. Doesn't make the charge, luckily, onto that Engine. So then it's over to my turn, and I've got to press forward. I can't take out these Skinks and just go for this objective. I've got to go big, so I've got to go for that Croak there, and I come around the corner with Gotrek, and if I make the charge, I kill his warlord. I get I deny him his battle tactics. So basically, I get like a 5-point swing there on this turn. But he's able to redeploy these skinks on on a 6 and pull them all the way over to this building to where I cannot get through into Croak. And so, just a heartbreaking redeploy there. I am able to swing this engine up here and kill off these salamanders. And if I can get the turn on the next one, then I could kill off his Croak again. So unfortunately, I can't, and so I don't get in there to kill off Croak. He doesn't kill off mine, off my engine, and so we end up in a pretty close game here. I think we were 5 points different. So if I could have made either one of those charges with Croak or with Gotrek into Croak, I think I would have had that game. But just couldn't quite get it. Couldn't quite get the priority rolls I needed. Excellent game from Elijah, and it was closer than I thought it was going to be against Fangs of Sotek. I didn't think I was going to have a chance because of their teleporting and kind of my lack of mobility here. But a couple priorities go my way, or get those dang charges with Gotrek. Stupid redeploys. Then we could have killed Croak and won that game. But hey, heck of a game from Elijah. He made a good showing for Seraphon, and good stuff. Good stuff. Good game there. It was a lot of fun to play. Happy on that one. So end of the GT. Turns out I came in 25th. We had, I think it was over 80 people at this tournament, so pretty awesome. That 3-2 on this tournament got me in 25th. Would have liked to make a better showing there with one of those two games I lost, but overall I was happy. It was a fun tournament. Had some great opponents, had great games, had a ton of fun. That's the most important thing. But we had some great showings here from Seraphon. Look at Andrew and Elijah both ended up in top 10 with Seraphon. They both had, wildly different lists. Both of them featured some Bastiladons, so I think we know one thing that's good. Patrick Leclerc also ended up with Seraphon list at 15, and so we had some strong Seraphon lists. In fact, I think the next video we're going to look at some of these lists and what they faced and how Seraphon did in this tournament. And so, great stuff. Let's revisit my list just for a second. So if I think I were to go to this tournament again, would I bring the same list? I liked it. I mean, I think it performed well. I think, game types, opponents, dice, and GTs like this can go wildly different directions. I think my biggest thing I might change would be my source warriors. I never really got to use them as the anvil. I kind of envisioned them where 30 wounds, -1 damage, basically a 2-up save with Mystic Shield and all-out defense. My Star Priest just wasn't really a good enough caster, to be honest. There were times I just wouldn't get the cast off. There were times where the other person had way too many unbinds with pluses to unbind, and I just couldn't get it off. Or there were times where I really just needed the Hand of Glory. So I just really didn't have enough casting power there to get off Mystic Shield reliably. I put it on once or twice on Gotrek when I really needed it there. But I think I lacked a little bit of mobility in that huge block of warriors. It was nice to have that big anvil. I think a lot of people didn't really want to attack it because it's so many wounds at -1 damage. And it can be hard to get through. But I think if I could take for the same points 3 units of knights, I would. I couldn't quite fit that in this list. And so I might need to tweak it a little bit and either get a little bit more casting in the list or get a little bit more mobility in some knights. And so I think a couple of those objectives, those game types, I could have used those MSU knights to move around the board, to create screens, to capture objectives while I pushed other things, most notably Gotrek, forward towards the opponent. So I did like the list. I had a lot of fun. I liked getting the warriors out there, even though they do have clubs. So a ton of fun. Next video, let's look at some of how the Seraphon had performed at the Warzone Houston tournament and come back for that one. It should be a lot shorter than this one. If you stuck around this long, man, you are a hardcore fan of Seraphon. All right, guys. Catch y'all later.